time for another episode of The Oil Stream with Dustin Nielsen and Tom Gazzola, presented by Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen.
Happy Wednesday, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Oil Stream. Nielsen and Gazzola back with you once again, part of the Nielsen Media Cool Bet Network, and of course presented to you by our wonderful partners at Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen. Available, obviously on DoorDash, Skip the Dishes, Uber Eats as you settle in for the winter and start to hibernate a little bit. I was getting some tires put on my car at Mr. Lube over on the West End here by the Costco, and I dropped my car off at 8 o'clock in the morning, 8:10 on Monday, and there's a Popeyes right there. And I swear to God, Tommy, I walked over to see if it was open at 8:10 in the morning because I was just like, no, it wasn't open. Nice. The sign said open, but it must have accidentally been on because I went up. It was dark inside. But I was thinking Popeyes chicken sandwich for breakfast on a cold, blistery day.
Ooh, that'll warm up your cockles and your sub-cockles.
It's a game changer right there.
It is a game changer. Now, I've noticed that my last few visits to Popeyes, I've been opting for the mac and cheese.
Really?
Yes. As my side.
Bold move.
I really like it. No regret.
I like the Cajun fries. It's always been my go-to. I'll be honest. I have not even had the mac and cheese, buddy, because I stick to what I like, right? So I don't want to change it up, but you're telling me I should hop into this mac and cheese.
I say #new experiences. Give it a go, and I might go to the Cajun fries. Let's try this.
So good.
Let's try
so
this.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, and the best part about it now, if you're at West Edmonton Mall, you can try it. Open right on the corner, that big, nice corner spot in that food court down by the movie theater. So they've got that going for them as well. Yeah, it's very nice. Yep. Yeah, it's big moment there. That's some high price real estate right there. All right. We've got lots to get to. We'll get to your Boston Pizza appetizer. We'll obviously get to inside the numbers for Cool Bet. But we got to start with the huge story from last night's game, Tommy, and Evander Kane posting this morning, that he'll be back. Obviously not next game. But I just can't believe it doesn't happen more often. Yet when I see it, I'm like, oh my God, it's unbelievable that it happened. And I had some people texting the show today and say, Dusty, Maroon looked down. He knew what he was doing. I was like, no, he didn't know what he was doing. Like, are you kidding me? The slew foot to put Kane on the ground. Sure. You want to bitch about that. I get it. Yeah. But the rest of it was accidental. And the fact that Kane got up and went to the bench, probably limited some of the damage there, I would think.
Yeah, the quickness of all of it, and everybody who responded, good on the officials for whistling down the play and not letting it continue on. The attention had to be on Kane. You saw the paramedics, who usually are around the Zamboni tunnel. That's where they're set up. They quickly got out there, and it was scary that they had the stretcher, or startling, if you will. I think it really resonated when Gene went on and he had a bird's eye view in that arena. I explained it on the Smash Hit Nielsen show this morning that at Amalie Arena, the broadcast studio is literally right across the hallway from where the locker room is and the tunnel to go onto the ice. So Gene would have seen everything because it's right there, and he would have heard everything. And and I know he tried to clean it up as much as possible. You could tell in his tone when he said Kane yelled, "Help, help, help." That's scary. That to me is
hit,
scary.
Didn't it? That hit it, yeah.
Because those guys, when they get hurt, they scream, they grimace in pain. They'll
scream
yell,
help.
But when they yell help, something is dearly wrong, and that's when you knew it was severe. So when they said, too, that the Oilers put out the statement that there was a procedure, that's surgery, it's major. I hope
immediately.
I hope the extent of the cut isn't bad. I hope that the nerve damage, artery, vein damage, whatever it is limited. But the fact that they had to go through all of that indicates that it's probably severe. And I'm assuming it's a long-term injury.
I think in a couple of months for sure, hey?
Mm-hmm.
I would think probably at least a couple months, yeah.
Yeah.
For those of you who are watching or listening to the podcast a little bit later on, this was the statement from Kane on social media earlier today. Thank you for all the kind wishes and prayers over the past several hours. Obviously, last night was an extremely scary moment for me, and I'm still a little bit of shock. I would like to thank the entire training staff of the Edmonton Oilers and Tampa Bay Lightning, along with all the doctors and paramedics who rushed to help treat and repair my injury. Without all of you, I know things would have been much worse. I'm sincerely grateful. I won't be back next game, but I will be back, and I look forward to being back on the ice, playing the game I love alongside my teammates in front of our great fans. So, I guess in the end, if we're looking at, there's no positives that come out of this, but it certainly could have been more negative. Like, it certainly could have been worse here, Tommy. The fact that he's laying it out, that he's going to be back, and that it could have been worse. I think alone, you're like, okay, phew. I mean, it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, it could have been. That amount of blood loss, I know it's not a Clint Malarchuk, jugular, Richard Zednik. That's like life or death. And not to say that this isn't either. Because,
the Zednik one. I mean, Malarchuk one was one thing, but that Zednik, man.
Awful.
Skate came up, right? And then, that was,
Yes.
And gross.
It's sad. Like, it conjures up these memories, but that was obviously, it could have been a devastating slice to the wrist. And they got to it. I mean, I'm one of those people that as I get older, I become more squeamish. I don't like seeing blood and thinking about what that incident did to his body. But there's brilliant medical people that took care of him. The Oilers have some of the best. Doc Nadeau, I don't know if he was on the trip with them or not, but he is literally one of the best in our province, in our country. I know he travels with the team. And then the Tampa Bay organization, of course, they have a top-notch medical team as well.
All right, let's dive into the Boston Pizza Appetizer, which is the game itself. They had lost 3 in a row. Their penalty kill was coming off of a game in which they got absolutely humiliated by Ovechkin and Kuznetsov. Jack Campbell, arguably his best start in his time as an Edmonton Oiler. Tommy, of all the good things that happened last night, what was the most important development, do you think, in that game for the Oilers?
Yeah, it goes hand in hand. I think Jack Campbell's performance and the bounce back of the penalty kill, one fed the other fed the other. That's crucial, and it shows a little bit of gusto, the ability for this team to be able to do that, which is something that was definitely in question and for good reason. So Campbell bouncing back is huge. The penalty kill going a perfect 5 for 5 is huge. Those go hand in hand. So they stand out to me, Dusty, simple as that. And they need to stay strong. The play of Campbell, yes, the play of Stuart Skinner when he gets back in there, probably tomorrow, I'm guessing. And then the PK, I mean, which was at an atrocious 67.9% going into yesterday, at 30th in the National Hockey League. Those are the big ones for me.
Well, what they did yesterday on the penalty kill is something that should be sustainable, and that is just pressure. Like, give Tampa Bay no time with the puck. And I thought Tampa's first power play, a little wobbly for sure.
Yes.
But I thought the Oilers pushed the issue. I mean, and that's how other teams should approach the Oilers as well, to be honest with you. I mean, you cannot give those guys time with the puck at all. But I thought clearly the message was, okay, on the penalty kill, be aggressive, go force them to make a play as opposed to just kind of stand around and try to take some lanes. And it sounds so simple, but it worked last night.
It did. And active sticks in lanes, getting sticks on pucks. The pressure thing you bring up, Leon Draisaitl spoke of it the night before after the game against Washington. He said that the timing was off. It just feels like nobody knows when to pressure at the right time, and they were getting caught with their pants down. And then last night, they completely flipped the script. They were in the right place at the right time. They got sticks in lanes. They were taking away opportunities from the Tampa Bay Lightning. There was a little bit of puck luck involved, too. I think there was a couple of whiffs from some Lightning players that generally don't whiff on shots, but you'll take it at that point. And so that was a massive bounce back from the PK and all the killers. And Dusty, there were only 2 players out of all the forwards who didn't get any PK time. Technically, it was only 1, but Dylan Holloway had 1 second on the penalty kill, and then Jesse Puljujarvi, no time on the PK. Everybody else had a shot on the PK.
Yeah, I think that's important. I mean, try to get some more of these guys involved certainly goes a long way. Do you think with the way Campbell played, they might go back to him tomorrow and then wrap the trip with Skinner? I mean, I just wonder if you want him to get the net again after playing so well.
I like that rationale. I totally understand it. It's a good situation to have to decide between that. But I think, too, my gut tells me that they want to go to Skinner again tomorrow night. And then maybe now that opens the door for Campbell against Florida. And then you could get into this groove of, okay, can we trust Jack Campbell? He's supposed to be our number 1. Let's give him 3 out of 4 starts. and then we can continue to slowly build up Stuart Skinner. I'm not putting that game on Stuart Skinner the other night, but like he's still very young. He's in the infancy of his NHL career. You need him to be mentally strong, and you don't want him taking shellackings like that where he's coughing up, 4 or 5 goals on a night-to-night basis.
All right, one other area that we certainly have to go to here before we get to inside the numbers is with Evander Kane out, Tommy. I mean, there's a couple of different things to discuss.
Yes.
One would be who gets called up. If you're going to be placed on the LTIR, which I would have to think probably happens here, he's likely going to miss at least 10 games, which is the minimum if you're going to go on the LTIR. Is it simple as Janmark and Klim Kostin? Is that it? Is there any other option here or what?
Well, yes, there's other options. I mean, Brad Malone is down there. There's a couple other guys. I know James Hamblin had a nice training camp, stuck around for quite a bit of it. But, the injury was very fresh yesterday. And I was texting. I'm like, okay, now what happens? Because if Kane is out for a significant amount of time, LTIR, 10 games minimum, then you all of a sudden have cap space to play with, and you could fill
for a
out
month
that roster. Yeah. 21 guys becomes 23, and you have extra forwards. You could throw different looks out there. So I asked someone within Hockey Ops, I said, hey, like, does this mean just Janmark for sure? And are you going to get to 23 guys? And the answer was yes to filling out the roster. So multiple call-ups. And then I was told Klim Kostin would likely be one of them. So I tweeted about it. That was what I was told and indicated to. And my sense of the things with like James Hamlin and where he's at, he's not that high up on the pecking order right now, but we shall see, Dusty.
Kostin was pointing out, so he's got like 4 points so far. Like he hasn't been playing great down there. But is this the classic scenario of a guy who has NHL experience? You want to get a look at him, so it really doesn't matter how he's playing down there. You're going to give him a look at some point.
I think that's the intention, and again, we don't have to overthink it in this scenario. I don't feel like we do, and if it doesn't work out with Klim Kostin, then you go, all right, well, see you later. You go back down to Bakersfield, and we tried, or you give it a go another time. But yes, the curiosity is there. I know a lot of fans are piqued by the possibility of a Klim Kostin in the lineup, and it sounds like there's a good chance that we could be seeing that pretty quickly here.
Tommy, who do you think plays with Draisaitl and Hyman tomorrow night?
Who plays with Draisaitl and Hyman? I think they'll keep that top line with Puljujarvi, McDavid, and Nugent-Hopkins together. I wouldn't mind seeing Dylan Holloway get another look up there, personally. And my wild card, like I said it on the morning show today,
bumping Foegele.
Maybe Foegele, but I mean, the body of work hasn't been great. He's been around it, Dusty. I think he's been putting in the effort. He's been stake bit. He isn't a high production guy and never has been in his career. So that's where I think it opens the door for Dylan Holloway, who continues to try to make things happen out there. And he hasn't been dissuaded by, mistakes or anything like that. He continues to try to push it. And I like that attitude from him.
All right, let's get to inside the number. Well, actually, no, it's not. I'm trying to think, like, if... Yeah, I'd like to see Holloway get a look, like a legit look. Not like a period, not like Yamamoto starts, and if it doesn't go well... I feel like they're just going to put Yamamoto back up there. I mean, he obviously has some leash with how long he lasted up there in the first place. I feel like that's what they're going to do. But then, I mean, even that, no matter what here, with Kane out, Holloway should get a regular shift in your top 9. If you're not going to give it to him now, Tommy, then he's never going to get it, and you might as well ship him down.
Right. And you look at the schedule and you go, is there a moment in the schedule coming up where you could slide Holloway in for a quote-unquote easier opponent? There aren't really any easy opponents on the schedule coming up. It's tough sledding to start this season, and it doesn't relent whatsoever. So you've been playing against good teams. You're going to continue to play against good teams. If you think he might have something there and he's building something good, Holloway, then give him a shot.
All right, inside the numbers for our partners at CoolBet. Stay cool, bet responsibly. If you want to be betting on Oilers games, you can do it right there at CoolBet. Oilers are 8-6.
Yes.
Are they better than their record would lead us to believe right now, Tommy? They're 8-6. They're fourth in the division. This is a little bit of a different group. It's different goaltending than last year, and you don't have Duncan Keith and everything like that. Is this an 8-6 team, or are they better than an 8-6 team?
It is an 8-6 team, and all the losses and the reasons why they've lost those games, they've earned. Sloppy play in their own zone, bad turnovers continually at both blue lines, some spotty goaltending at times. That PK, like we talked about, has been atrocious. They deserve to be 8-6. All 6 of those losses they earned. So they should be a better team. I think they will be a better team as we progress throughout the season. But they've completely earned those 6 losses in my mind. Yeah,
I thought that was the best way to lay it out. Like I could see a lot of people who are watching right now or listening later, or your pregame, postgame, my show, or whatever, would look at it and go, "No way, they're better than 8-6. We know they're better than 8-6." But it's not like they've played brilliant in 4 of their 6 losses and deserve so much better, right? Like that's not, they deserve everything they've got so far. So far, through 14 games, they have played and appear to be an 8-6 team. Do they potentially have a roster that should be 11-3 at this point? Sure. I mean, in a perfect world, yeah. But right now, I mean, when you watch this team from night to night, I think they're an 8-6 team. They're better than 500, more than slightly better than 500 hockey team with what we've seen so far. There's tons of room for improvement. There's room for other guys to get going. There's room to tighten up defensively. You got to get the penalty kill on track outside of just last night. And then that elevates you more. Like there's been a lot of weaknesses in their game so far, and they still are a couple games above 500, right? So it's not the end of the world, but they are what their record says they are right now.
They're in the mix. And the 2 games that actually stand out to me where it could be a difference maker, we could be talking about a 10-4 team. St. Louis, when they lost essentially 1-0, ended up being 2-0 with the Falk empty netter from his own zone. That one they played pretty good in, and they still lost. It was a grinded out loss to St. Louis. And then that 7-second span against New Jersey. I mean, they played a pretty good game against a strong Devils team that's on a heater right now. Outside of that, like the other 4 losses, wholeheartedly deserved, and so that's why they're 8-6. But you're right, deficiencies, and we've highlighted them. We'll continue to highlight them until they clean them up. And you could I could sense a little bit of frustration from Jay Woodcroft, but good on him for sticking with it, keeping the message consistent. And I think in time, if these guys clue in like they did last night against one of the best teams in the league over the last X amount of years too, they're capable. So that was a good shot in the arm for them. But yes, 100%. 8-6 team, fully deserved. Yesterday with the 5:30 start, we were on at 4:30. So I believe if
it's
a
5 o'clock start, buddy. 5 o'clock.
Then we're on the air.
Yeah.
Then we're on the air at 4 p.m. Right in the middle of the Jason Gregor show.
Well, you let a little bit of Gregor, a little bit of Strutty, and a whole lot of Cass.
Yeah. Well, a little bit of everybody. And it's weird because we only have X amount of lines. So we have to get me on. And if Gregor and Strutty aren't in the same location.
That's right.
And all 3 of us are at our different places, then we've incorporated Zoom and to make the audio better.
Is that why Strutty sounded a little weird yesterday with you? Was he on a different connection?
Yeah. So he had to hop off the board. I patch into the station. Gregor's patched into the station. Strutty is via Zoom. We get Cass via Zoom, but Cass, I got him to start using his microphone that he uses on 2 guys and a goalie. So he sounds nice and crisp. And I think Strutty was just using headphones in his bathroom.
Okay, I know, because I was listening earlier to Gregor and Strutty, and I was driving somewhere, and I was listening on the way back. I was like, "What happened to Strutty? Like, why does he sound all of a sudden like he's in a bathroom? Like, it didn't make any sense." So, all right. So, an early start for you guys though, 4 o'clock tomorrow to get everybody ready for the Oilers and the Carolina Hurricanes. That's going to do it for another episode of the Oil Stream. Thank you very much for subscribing to the podcast or watching the live stream. Very much appreciated. Brought to you by our partners at Cool Bet, Boston Pizza, and of course, our presenting sponsor, Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen. And nothing says warm in the cockles like a Popeyes Louisiana chicken sandwich. Tommy, get us out of here, bud.
Just smash that thumbs up button. Otherwise, Dusty, you nailed it. Have a good one. Stay warm, everyone.